Hello, everyone. So today, with beta sort of starting to wind down, with us only having 2 weeks until pre-patch opens up and kind of the floodgates open a little bit in terms of Devour and Midnight and everything. I've kind of wanted to sit down and talk about my UI and kind of the choices I've made with my UI and like what add-ons I'm using, and especially with Blizzard's shift away from weak auras and just add-ons that can heavily impact combat in general, and kind of the changes they've made so far. Now, the first thing I want to point out that I think is the most important is that I am only using 2 add-ons currently. This UI is made using only 2 add-ons. I'm using Platinator for nameplates, but caveat to that, I know that, and I mean I have it installed right now. I don't think this is super functioning yet, but Plater is getting worked on for Midnight, so that should be coming, I'm pretty sure. I'm using Nephui, which is the UI overhaul that you're kind of seeing on screen, and you've seen in other videos in the past as well. And I think the best way to sort of do this is kind of talk about what Nephui is doing. The biggest things that Nephui is doing for me, at least, is that it's kind of, I don't want to call it an LVUI replacer because not everyone uses LVUI, but it's an overhaul of your entire UI, like those things like LVUI were. But conforming to like this new sort of style of add-on restriction that Blizzard's kind of going for. And the biggest things that I like personally about Nephui is that, one, it's working with edit mode, with like the cooldown manager, but it also has things like its own resource bars because the Blizzard UI lacks decent resource bars. I'm able to color my personal player unit frame to whatever I want. I like made it nice and Devourery, but you can use your class color as well. And the same goes for, it has basically the same things you would want out of any other thing, any other UI pack, I guess, where, you're able to customize these party frames, raid frames, profiles, everything like that. And something I like that I'm sure, as someone who wasn't huge on like the weak aura packs of the past, of like having the cooldown manager, I guess cooldown manager is something that I'm getting used to, as I was usually someone that just put my action bars up here in order to do that. But if I swap to an Annihilator build, like this one, where I'm going to lose my melee abilities, my player frame will, these unit frames will kind of squeeze in a little bit to kind of conform to that. And I like that a lot. I'm able to change my cast bar to be whatever size I want it in whatever position, so on and so forth. There's a couple other ones out there. I know Arc UI is out there, and I know LVUI is getting worked on for Midnight. And I'll link my profiles in the description. They're really long, so I'll probably just make text files and upload them to Google Docs and upload them that way in the description. The same goes for Platinator. The thing about Platinator is that, and I'll still put my profile in the description, but something to consider too is that if you go on Waggo, the place where you used to get weak auras, you can find a plethora of various different Platinator profiles that are for the add-on, that you can find whichever one that fits your needs, and it'll show you what it looks like. And I'm a big fan of this. Show me the spell, show me if it's interruptible, that kind of stuff. And honestly, as someone who's been doing a lot of keys on beta, and I did the raid testing as well, this really does everything I needed to do, to the point where, especially playing Devour, where we're not tracking all that many things beyond souls, but I mean, my resource bar alone is tracking souls and fury already. So, I mean, especially once you have a hang of the spec, and with action bars too, I guess I'll touch on action bars a little bit. I have 2 6-button bars with my rotation on them, and then I have a spot for my combat pot, and I have a spot for a health pot. I did have throw glaive here before you could like when you could use Throw Glaive to like interrupt Collapsing Star and not lose souls. That's fixed on the PTR, so I haven't been doing that. Um, so it's just a health pot, but I have everything I need here. Mounts kind of in this random section, just buttons I'm not going to use very often, or just consumables and things like that. And then I have my mount button over here, but obviously this can expand and, you know, grow as ever I need it to. But it's really easy to do. And I haven't had, I mean, I think beta in general is never going to be super stable performance wise. Mine's kind of improved in the last couple weeks, but for a bit there, beta was really unstable. But I really haven't had any performance issues with using like an overhaul of UI pack like this, because I know that's a really big concern for people, especially with kind of that stigma that LVOI got after a while of being kind of a resource hog and kind of, you know, lowering your frame rates and things like that. I think, especially with, I think it's kind of incorporated into the add-on change too, of these add-ons aren't going to be as heavy on your game. So, especially when things just at the end of the day are just mostly going to be reskins, I'm quite the happy camper. I'm very happy with this. The only thing is I can really ask, I mean, obviously, add-on authors are doing this out of the kind of the kindness of their own heart, but I mean, getting a reskin of the damage meter would be nice, and then like these little chat tabs. But I mean, as of right now, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have details in Midnight, so that's not something I'm like super concerned with or anything. But for now, I think I'm just gonna leave it there, because I would really encourage you. I'm still gonna link my profile in the description, but I would really encourage you to really look through this add-on, because honestly, it's way simpler than a lot of the other ones I've used in the past. In terms of getting your own UI set up by yourself, I found it really easy to do and not relying on a profile. But obviously, if you're happy with what I've done here, go for it. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.